Many restoration companies enter crowded markets where standing out requires more than technical expertise. Success often comes from a combination of persistence, adaptability, customer trust, and a willingness to tackle challenges others might avoid. Today's conversation features a family-owned biohazard remediation company serving Arizona since 2011. This company has found its own way to stand out. And it's my pleasure to welcome Krystie Reeves with BioTeam to the program. Hi, Krystie.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to share your story. So, to get started, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Well, it's an interesting story. I started out as a legal assistant for a probate attorney when I was 21 years old, and we would go in and get the insurance paperwork for biohazard companies because that's what they needed at the time. So the first bio job I went on, which I probably shouldn't say out loud, but I was wearing flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. And we went through the back door. We jumped over the bio in the kitchen and went through rustling for paperwork. I'll never forget the odor that I smelt at that time. It stuck with me since. And that's where it all started. We had to hire bio companies. I was part of that process. And then later on in my career, after becoming an attorney, I started representing bio companies and hiring bio companies, suing bio companies. And then we had the opportunity to purchase BioTeam. I became very close with Eddie and Sherry that own the company, and we decided to purchase it in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. So that's kind of where we started. I've having all of the probate experience, which for people that don't understand probate, that is basically death law, if you will. And so I have a lot of experience in that, and now biohazard remediation.
I want to revisit the flip-flops, shorts, and t-shirt because so you're telling me that's not approved PPE?
That is definitely not approved PPE. I didn't even know what PPE was back then. It was instruction from the bio company, go in and get paperwork, and that's what we did.
Totally understandable. There's a lot of people that learn along the way, and you've learned as well. I've seen pictures of you in gear. I believe you've had some training.
Oh, just a tiny little bit of
Tiny bit.
training. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's talk about what you're proud of now, what makes you unique. So you bought the company, you're now running it. Talk about that.
So I'd like to start off with a very wonderful human being said to me once, there's always good, better, and best. And so when we purchased the company, we knew it was a very good company, striving to be better. And now where we are is we're striving to be the best. We have not expanded our scope. We have a niche market. We only handle biohazard remediation. And that is one of the things that makes us different. A lot of companies may have a sector where they run 10, 20 jobs a year because they have one person that is certified or or not. But this is all we do, and all of our technicians are certified. So I am proud, I'm really proud of the team that we built on the front end and the back end because I work in the field and I work on the back end. So, and our back end employees are trained as well, not just our front end employees.
I like that story. I talk to a lot of restoration companies and they do everything. They'll do the biohazard cleanup, they'll do the fire and smoke, they'll travel to Florida for hurricanes. You're focused on a specialty, so that's needed. Let's talk about that a little bit more. These situations that you operate in. I have never really done this work myself, but they're emotionally charged. They involve families experiencing trauma. How do you develop systems and training that allows your team to balance compassion, which I know you value, with professionalism, which you also value?
I mean, it starts with a hiring process, really, building a good team and slow introduction. And so when when we onboard a client, the fact that we don't outsource to some company to answer the phone or an AI generated company, when you call us, you are getting us. You're getting Matthew, my husband that owns the company with me, myself, Sabrina, or Delan. So you are getting BioTeam. You're not getting a different, answering service, if you will. That to me is really important because the intake call is the onboarding call. You have to have that emotional experience. You have to be able to read the person. Some people are very emotional, and some people don't have a relationship with the person that's passed away. And so when you say, I'm sorry for your loss, that can't be a coined response because maybe they're not sorry for the loss. So you have to be able to read the room essentially when you're speaking to someone and getting as much background information as possible. So our system starts with hiring people that fit this field and then onboarding the client. That helps us for when we get dispatched. We will have an idea of who we're meeting at the property, if we are even meeting somebody, how they're related to the individual or individuals that have passed away, and what we are expected of when we go there. So sometimes I will only get dispatched out as a preliminary assessment because they need my expertise. I have to go in and find all of the paperwork. I know what a probate attorney will need because they'll need a probate attorney sometimes. And so I'll go in and I will get all of that initial stuff for them, and I'll be able to answer higher level questions. So it's dependent on the intake call. So after the intake call, we will get dispatched out. One of us will for an assessment, or we get dispatched out as a team because we're just going to start the work. At that point in time, then we assign one of the technicians, and the term used with the IICRC is a talking technician. We want one point of contact with the client. We don't want five different people saying five different things. And it's really important for the client and for us to have that fluidity because that person that's responsible will be responsible for communicating directly with the client and directly with back end. So there's no miscommunication. And it alleviates a lot of pressure off the client as well because they know exactly who to talk to. If there's questions asked or things accelerate to a certain level, obviously it will get pushed either to Matthew or myself, but that generally doesn't happen. During training on this role, this isn't something we just throw the technicians into. They will train with us over months, generally 6 months. So they will go out with me on initial assessments, and then they'll act as secondary with clients when we're on the job. And then they will go with Matthew, and then they will act as secondary with Matthew, and then they'll go with one of our senior technicians so that they can see three different points of view. All of us say the same exact thing. We just explain things in a different manner sometimes, and they need to be able to create their own voice. If a technician does not want to take that role on, we absolutely don't permit them to take that role on. There's plenty of us that can do that. Boundaries are extremely important to us here. We With that, we also discuss personal limitations. Obviously, with biohazard remediation, we deal with some of the worst scenes, especially with children. So when children are involved, then Matthew and I are the only ones that handle the job. unless we have a technician that is willing and able. If at any point during a job they're uncomfortable, they know that they let us know, and we stop. There's some private internal protocols that we may take, for instance, removing pictures out of a room if it's a homicide or a suicide, things like that. Um, Another example that comes up more often than I would like it to is deceased animals. They don't take deceased animals away, and every single one of us are animal lovers. So none of us want to do it, but it is part of our scope of work. And so we do have two technicians that are absolutely uncomfortable with it. So there's the group of us that will go in initially, remove the deceased animals, and then they don't have to see that portion of the job because it is emotional. I also like to add debriefing. We debrief after every job. It's where are you at emotionally? Was this hard? Have we been on suicide, homicide calls back to back? Do we pause? Debriefing is extremely important. All of us are very close. And so debriefing happens naturally for us, but we also debrief with Delan and Sabrina on intake calls because sometimes they get the call and it's 40 minutes long and everybody's crying and the scene hasn't been released, and it's okay, we're going to take you off primary for a couple hours, you rest, and now you're on primary or I'm on primary. So it's not just about the field technicians, it's also about us, taking intake calls. We get emotional as well.
Krystie, some of those watching might run companies like yours as well, and they understand this, but some they might be thinking, we get a job, we send a technician, they've been to class. It's pretty simple compared to what you're talking about here. Talk about the challenges you faced over the years, the toughest business challenges, and how you've dealt with them from the perspective of this unique operation you guys run.
There are a lot of challenges. I think right now, um, the biggest challenge is unethical competition and unethical employees. That's really what it comes down to. A lot of people want to bury the insurance companies. I don't necessarily agree with that. It's it's remarkably easy for bad actors to operate in this field because we are unregulated and you can say, "Oh yeah, I can do that," but I don't think a lot of individuals understand the negative impact that it has on our industry as a whole. And I believe that biohazard remediation is based in honor. It's based on service to the community. We are here to provide a safe place. And safety is number one, our safety number one, and we need to leave the place as safe as it can possibly be. You should be able to run a daycare in there when we are done, not just the standard clean. That's not what we do. I think another thing is that I have learned is not, I said yes to every job. We decline jobs. It's not just that, there are unethical actors out there, and we have decided not to work with them. We don't need to beat the best price in town. I know when somebody is bidding against a job and whether or not they're going to dispose of the biohazard correctly based on their price, because I know what it costs to do that. So it's the operation. Everybody's competitive. Those are two of the biggest things. But working with competitors too is really important. I have very good relationships with quite a few competitors here, and we talk a lot because we all have the the same goal in mind. Not all of us, but a lot of us do.
You're talking about ethical competitors.
Correct.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that makes it all work well. And the industry with good competition, ethical competition grows and thrives and becomes better. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about building your business because every business needs good marketing, good strategy. So what are some of your favorite or proven marketing strategies and how do you make those work for your company?
There's the basic stuff. So I'm going to use some terms like SEO. Having a very good outside company running your website is extremely important, and it's very hard to find ones that actually work, especially in our niche area. So maintaining a strong online presence while being ethical, I disagree with shifting towards the gore factor. We don't post anything that is scene related or that would expose, any personal information of any of our clients. We are hold privacy very importantly. And we focus on building a strong network of referral partners. We do run paid advertising with Google and Bing. We have master contracts with companies that we've worked with for a long time. Some from that came over from 10, 15 years ago when Eddie had the company. They're still with us, and new ones that we have built with different companies.
Besides what you talked about, what about referral relationships? I have to think you probably deal well with property managers, insurance professionals, agencies, you talked about other restoration companies that you work with. How's that helped with your company growth?
Immensely. We wouldn't be where we are at today without referral partners, not just on the back end, all of those attorneys, fiduciaries, property management companies, landing federal and state contracts, things like that. Those are very helpful to build because it provides consistent work in a very inconsistent world that we operate in. But a lot of people don't discuss the referral partnerships you have with after when we're done. And we don't do build back. A lot of companies do. So we have a good job referral system, but we also have an amazing referral system for when we're done. So we're not just leaving the families or individuals or companies, whoever it is, just at a loss. Like, okay, we're done. Now what do you do? These are companies we vetted out that we've worked with for years and years, and it we make it the operation as fluid as possible. If they need to get any rebuild work, we don't do that. We have multiple general contractors that we work with that do that. They handle that. If they need junk removal or if they want to add certain things on, we have a good referral network. So it's on both ends because when you have a bad forward referral network, that reflects on you. And I will tell you that every one of our referral partners is absolutely amazing.
So, Christy, if you were advising a new restoration or specialty cleaning company like yourself, someone new, or you might even say someone who's smaller but wants to grow, what are the top strategies you would focus on during their first few years in business? What would you tell them?
I would tell them safety, 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 safety is number one. We are in a world where fentanyl is existent in a lot of the jobs we operate in. So to me, safety is always number one. When first starting out, understanding regulatory compliance. To this day, a lot of people will come to me and they've been in operation for quite a bit of time, 10 plus years, and they don't have their regulatory compliance together. Have it together because all it takes is one instance and it can shut your business down and make you go bankrupt. And when I say regulatory compliance, I mean OSHA. There's a lot of OSHA laws that apply to us. making sure you have the right insurance. A lot of people don't have it. Sounds so weird, right? But we need pollution liability. We're dealing with bloodborne pathogens and viruses. If somebody gets sick or possibly dies, we need to make sure that we have the right insurance coverage. So having a good insurance professional that understands the industry is really important because that's what supports you and to being able to do the work. And vetting out chemicals, making sure you're using the correct chemicals for what you are doing. And a lot of that goes to the job site assessment and the intake calls. Are we dealing with, an unattended death, but the individual also had uh, C. diff, which is a highly contagious bacteria. Are you prepared for that? If you are not, then what you need to do is stop, orient, and contact somebody that is can help. And that's what I did is I had no idea how to deal with certain things. And so I built a network of professional individuals across the United States that I could call. We've had people fly out and do work with us side by side to learn because that's how you grow and that's how you grow the right way. There's trial and error. Um, and so a big part of it is understanding your limitations. This is not you it's not something where, oh, yeah, maybe I can do it. You could kill someone if it's an, oh, maybe, yeah, I can do it. Reach out. There's a lot of us that are available always to connect and assist. And we do that. We've flown out and assisted individuals now on their jobs when they get started. And there's quite a few other companies that do that as well.
Great advice for not just new companies, but for everyone. I did not know you were going to lead with safety and fentanyl. Didn't see that coming, but that's the reality in the world we live in, isn't it?
It is. It
Hmm.
is. It's high risk, high level is where it's at now. And you have to be prepared. If you don't know, if you walk in and you don't know and you see that, stop, exit, call somebody. Because if you don't have the proper training or the proper PPE, you can kill somebody, including yourself or your employees.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all those strategies. Those are good. Last question. What's next for your company?
So what's next is it's interesting. We're going to be even more niche, not that we aren't already, but what I want to get into really is what what you would call forensic restoration, decontamination, and abatement. So including air quality, because air quality is left out. I feel like air quality is attached to mold only, and we have a responsibility to remediate content, structure, and air quality in biohazard remediation. And with the stakes being so much higher, especially with the illicit drugs that we run into on at least 50% of our jobs now. Oh, and that's over the last 2 years. We've just seen a heavy increase, which has caused us to increase our training, changing some of our PPE protocols and going towards that arena. So basically what we want to do is become the specialist company that the other restoration companies call for high risk, high level decontamination and abatement. I can't do this. I'm not going to put my employees at risk. We can do it. We're trained. We know how to do this. We have the protocol set. We've all of us have gone through it multiple times and have trained with some of the best people out there and introducing new indoor air quality techniques because I've it took me a while and I've just recently learned how to deal with indoor air quality and fentanyl. And I've reached out to some of the best people out there in the industry, and training on that, it will make us a much better forward-thinking company, and hopefully just working with more restoration contractors. When they walk in and they can't deal with it, we can.